Om. सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Hari Om. So in the last session, we saw the meaning of the first verse of Viveka Chudamani, which is Mangala Charana, which is the invocation, right? Bhagavan Shri Adi Shankaracharya ji, before beginning the text, prostrates unto whom? So we saw the meaning. He prostrates unto that supreme reality, which is his own, our own self. He prostrates to Ishvara, Bhagavan Mahavishnu, Shri Krishna. He prostrates to his Guru, right? Any way you can take this verse, but he prostrates unto that supreme, who is Ishvara, who is Guru, and who is my own self. And how is he? How is it that supreme reality? How is it? Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam. That which can be realized through the central theme or central teaching of the entire Vedanta. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta. What is that? That is the Mahavakya. That is the identity between the supreme and the individual. That is the central theme of the Upanishads, of the Vedanta. So the supreme reality is possible to be realized through the Mahavakyas, but agocharam, but in all other ways it cannot be known. It is not an object of perception, it is not an object of inference or similarity or postulation or non-perception. In any of the other means, pramanas, it cannot be known. The only means is the Shabda Pramana, and in Shabda Pramana also Vedanta Pramana. To that Govinda, who is Paramananda, who is the supreme bliss, of the nature of bliss, to that Sadguru, I offer my prostrations. We saw Govinda word also has so many meanings. One meaning of word Govinda is, of course, is the name of Mahavishnu. Also another meaning of Govinda is Gam Vindati, the self is also called as Govinda. And Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya is also Shankaracharya's Guru. So in this way, he offers his prostrations. first verse. Mangalacharana is generally of three types: Namaskara Rupa, Ashirvada Rupa, Vastu Nirdesha Rupa. This is a Namaskara Rupa Mangala, but it can also be understood to be Vastu Nirdesha Rupa Mangala. Why? Because that supreme reality is pointed out. After this Mangalacharana, now we go to the second verse, which is actually the summary or content of the entire Viveka Chudamani. We started the verse and we saw some things, some meaning of some words. Let us complete the verse. We will chant it together and then we will proceed. जन्तूनां नरजन्मदुर्लभमतः पुंस्त्वं ततो विप्रता तस्माद्वैदिकधर्ममार्गपरता विद्वत्त्वमस्मात् परम् आत्मानात्मविवेचनं स्वनुभवो ब्रह्मात्मना संस्थितिः मुक्तिर्नो शतजन्मकोटिसुकृतैः पुण्यैर्विना लभ्यते. Shankaracharya says, Mukti, that final stage of liberation, Shatajanma koti sukritaihi punyaihi vina na ulabhyate, cannot be attained without the merits earned by good deeds in 100 crore births. And how it is to be attained? So the entire path is shown by saying how each step, further step, is rarer. Right? And in that we saw the first step properly. Jantunam narajanma durlabham. Among all the beings, this human birth is very rare. So we understood how this human birth is rare, because if you take the entire population of all the beings, human beings are very few. And rarity also means speciality. What is the speciality of this human birth? First speciality, it is the only birth where we can put forth efforts to liberate ourselves. It is the karma yoni. It is the birth where karma is possible. All others are bhoga yonis. Either you can enjoy or you can suffer. You cannot contribute in a positive way towards any action. Number one. We also saw how this human birth is gained. If too much of punya is there, we will get higher worlds. If more papa is there, we will get lower worlds. But when ubhabhyam punya papabhyam manusham labhate avashaha, when punya and papa are almost similar, we get this human life. Right? In this human life, what is more special? Intelligence is more special. That is the faculty that is not available with any other being on the earth. It is that with which we can change the course of our action. We can think independently. We can decide, we can plan, and we can even realize the supreme. Right? This is the speciality of human birth, and therefore jantunam narajanma durlabham. What does it mean? It means that now that we have got this human birth, let us not waste it. Let us not waste in doing something that can be done in other births. See how Shankaracharya is pointing out, isn't it? Dogs, cats, what can be done in those births? Let us not waste our human birth also just for that. Let us do what we are supposed to do in this human birth. And what is that? To walk the spiritual path and to reach mukti. That is what we should do. Right? So, jantunam narajanma durlabham. Ataha. Now let us understand the next step. Ataha means rarer than that. If narajanma is durlabha, if human birth is rare, rarer than that is what? Ataf pumstvam. Pumstvam means manliness, humane qualities. Somebody may be born as a human being but doesn't necessarily have humane qualities. And therefore, we often say also, in regional languages it sounds much better, what are you lying down like a donkey? Why are you barking like a dog? We keep saying like this to all people, isn't it? All the time he wants to eat. All the time he wants to take bath like a buffalo. See? So a human being can also have qualities which are not humane. But to have human qualities is even more rare. Now what happens? The moment somebody hears this word pumstvam, manliness, suddenly the feminism wakes up and says, what is this? Spirituality is saying that it is only for men, it is not for women. It is nothing like that is said. It is not said that the person should be of male gender. No, pumstvam is said. Pumstvam means what? Manliness, not necessarily man body. See, gender is physical. But qualities are something of mind. It is not said that you should only be born as a man to get realization. Nothing like that. Women can also get realization. And actually speaking, why should I tell that? It is obvious. So it is never said in any of our scriptures that only man can get realization, women cannot get, and therefore one of the qualities here said is no. The point here is what? What do you mean by pumstvam? What do you mean by manliness? You see, we are talking about mind, point number one. So we are not saying physically what should be the gender, number one. Second thing, what should be the quality of the mind? The quality should be to overpower emotions and to take objective decision. That is called as manliness. Now that quality can also be there in a female who is physically female, can also have this quality. And at the same time, those who are physically men may not have this quality. So we are not distinguishing based on body, whether it is a male body or a female body. We are not talking about that. We are talking about the quality of manliness, the humane quality. And you see, there is nothing against females also. See, we say that women are generally more attached to things. Why? Because God has made them that way. That's how we say. But that's not true. Actually speaking, if you see around you, women are the first ones who will come out of any problem quickly. Men will take time. It's always like that. Why? Because the unconditional love is the quality that women have, not attachment. See, attachment you cannot categorize as whether males have or females have. Attachment both can have. But this unconditional love comes natural to women. That is the gift of God. Right? Now, of course, some of them, because of that unconditional love, become attached to things. That men also do. There is nothing against women. The point here is what? Even if I have unconditional love towards somebody, or even if for the sake of argument, even if I have attachment towards somebody, when the time comes, if I am able to take a rational, objective decision, that is called as manliness. That is called as manliness. It is said very nicely, unconditional love is gift of God to women, and women is gift of God to men. Very clear. So God has gifted both. To women, what has He gifted? Unconditional love. And to men, what has He gifted? Women. Why? Because they are the ones who take care. Right? So never have this thought that spirituality is distinguishing men and women. Often we hear this kind of misunderstanding of spirituality, of Vedanta. They say women were not allowed to study Veda, etc. That was much later. In the Vedic period, they were allowed. We have number of Richikas. Richikas means female rishis. Rishi is a masculine name. the female form of that is Richika. So there were many Richikas who were even revealed that knowledge of the Vedas. There were teachers who were females. There were students who were females, right? Great scholars were there who were females. So there is nothing against it. There is nothing against even the quality of love. The point is what? In attachment, what happens? We take irrational decisions. We listen to the emotions and we flow with it. That kind of mental quality is not suitable for spiritual path. You have to have stronger intellect which tells the mind, shut up, do this. That is the only way by which we can be disciplined in our spiritual path, and therefore it is said, Pumstvam is what is the next step, what is rarer. So having been born as human beings, what should be my next step? My next step should be to have Pumstvam, to have manliness, to have humane qualities, right? That is the next step. What is the Tataha thereafter? The next step is what? Viprata. Viprata means what? Noble qualities. Not only qualities of humane, qualities which are humane, but noble qualities. Vipra literally is another word which is used for Brahmana. Many people, synonymously they use the word for Brahmana. Again, just like in the previous word Pumstvam, it was not related to the physical body, whether male or female body. Similarly here, Viprata doesn't mean that the person should be of a particular caste. Nothing like that is said. And therefore, Viprata is said. See, this suffix, it is called. Suffix means what comes after the word. This tvam, twa or ta. These kind of suffixes, when they are added, they make the word into an abstract noun. Pum. Pum means puman, a male, man. Pumstvam, manliness. That ness we add, is abstract noun. Similarly here, the same thing ta also does. Satta, tattva. You see ta or tva, it makes it into abstract noun. So, when it is said Pumstvam, it becomes manliness. Similarly here, Viprata means what? Viprata means noble qualities. Not a person. Vipra is a person. Viprata becomes abstract noun. Right? And again, as I said, that this is not talking about any particular caste, but we are talking about the qualities that are required to walk the spiritual path, especially the qualities of a Brahmana. Brahmana here again is not referring to a caste. Brahmana means who? Is one verse is there which explains nicely. It says, Janmana jayate Shudraha. By birth, everybody is born Shudra. Samskara dvija uchyate. When samskara is done, different Shodash samskara we speak of, no? Especially when Upanayana samskara is done, then that person becomes dvija. Dvija means twice born. So first time born from the mother's womb, second time born when that samskara is done, when purification happens. Samskara dvija uchyate. Vedadhyayi bhavet vipraha. When the same person then studies the Vedas, studies the scriptures, such a person is then called Vipraha. Vedadhyayi bhavet Vipraha. Brahma janati Brahmanaha. And one who knows Brahman is called as Brahmana. Now please remember, sometimes these words are used synonymously. Dvija, Vipra, Brahmana are used for the same person, but it has got this kind of gradation in our scriptures. Now here when it is said Viprata, what are the qualities that we are talking about? We are talking about the qualities of a Brahmana. Brahmana means what? One who is walking the path of spirituality. Brahmani charati. Iti brahmachari we say, no? Like that, Brahmana is one who walks on the path that goes to Brahman. So what are those qualities? Those qualities are, in Bhagavad Gita, one verse explains the qualities of a Brahmana. Shamodamastapashaucham kshantirarjavameva cha jnanam vidjnanamastikyam brahma karma swabhavajam. That is what Bhagavad Gita says. What are they? Shamaha. Shamaha, control of mind. Damaha, control of senses. Tapaha, austerity. Shaucham, purity. Kshantihi, forgiveness or forbearance. Arjavam, straightforwardness. Jnanam, knowledge. Vidnyanam, experiential knowledge. Astikyam, faith. These are the qualities of Vipra. So, Viprata means referring to these qualities. So, first step is being born as human being. Second step is having humane qualities. Now, the third step is having these noble qualities. So, if we don't have, we should try to gain. In Vedanta, we call these as sadhana chatushtaya. The topic will come later on in this text itself. We'll see in detail what is that. But we call it as sadhana chatushtaya, the fourfold qualification. Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi, Shat Sampatti, Mumukshutva, etc. We will see when it comes. That is what is referred to in this third step. What is the fourth step? Tasmat. Tasmat, higher, rarer than that. The next step, which is even more rare, is what? Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata. Parata. Parata again is a abstract noun. Steadfastness. Steadfastness in what? Dharma Marga. Steadfastness on the righteous path. Vaidika, shown by the Vedas, shown by the scriptures. Means what? Not only that I have these qualities, the noble qualities, but I am walking the path, the righteous path shown by the Vedas. That is the next step. Now, what is the path that Veda shows? So, it says, Dvividho hi Vedokta Dharmaha. The righteousness, Vedokta, spoken of by Vedas, is Dvividha, is twofold. Pravritti Lakshanaha, Nivritti Lakshanascha. One is called as Pravritti Dharma and another is called as Nivritti Dharma. This sentence is from Shankara Bhashya, Shankaracharya's Bhashya commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Dvividho hi Vedokta Dharmaha, Pravritti Lakshanaha, Nivritti Lakshanascha. Means what? Vedas speak of two kinds of path which are righteous. One is called as Pravritti Marga, Pravritti Dharma. What is that Pravritti Dharma? The life of a householder. You get married and live a what we call as life based on scriptures. So scriptures will guide you. Scriptures will tell you every day you must do Sandhya Vandana, every day you must do Swadhyaya, every day you must do Pravachana, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, Swadhyayanma Pramadaha, Acharyaya Priyam Dhanamaratya Prajatantum Ma Vyavachetsi. Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad says this, isn't it? So, walking the path of pravritti, action, is one. And nivritti dharma means the path of renunciation, nivritti. Having lived the life by pravritti marga, when one gets that desire that now I want to realize that supreme, then the person gives up all other actions and focuses on the spiritual path. Right? This is called as nivritti marga. So, Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata means what? Steadfastness on the righteous path shown by Vedas. It can be Pravritti Marga, it can be Nivritti Marga based on our walk of life, our stage of life. Right? In Indian culture, we say 4 stages of life are there. Brahmacharya Ashrama, Grahastha Ashrama, Vanaprastha Ashrama and Sannyasa Ashrama. So, Brahmacharya Ashrama we are supposed to live, and what we are supposed to do? Those qualities we are supposed to gain. which were spoken of in the previous step. Viprata. That is what I am supposed to gain in Brahmacharya ashram. Then what am I supposed to do after that? I am supposed to walk the path, righteous path shown by the Vedas. It can be pravritti marga through grihastha or it can be nivritti marga through vanaprastha and sannyasa ashrama. Tasmat vaidika dharma marga parata. But you see here how Shankaracharya is, using the words. He wants us to also understand that dharma, righteousness, is a means and not a goal. This is moksha shastra. Vedanta is a moksha shastra. So in the four purusharthas, we often speak dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Moksha is the ultimate purushartha. What is dharma for? Dharma is a means to attain moksha. Karmakandis, those who consider the first section of Veda, the Karmakanda section of Veda, to be supreme, they will say, no, dharma is the goal. Shankaracharya says, no, dharma marga. He uses the word marga to indicate to us that it is a path. Righteousness is a path by which we have to reach moksha. It is not goal. So dharma should become my stepping stone. Dharma marga parata. Right? This step actually indicates to us guru upasadanam. Why? Because only when we go near a guru and study, then only we will understand Vaidika dharma, pravritti dharma, nivritti dharma. And since it also indicates sannyasa, it also indicates this guru upasadana. Guru upasadana means approaching a guru. That is the next step of spiritual path. After having gained sadhana chatushtaya, the required qualities, the next step is guru upasadana, which is explained in this Vaidika dharma marga parata. Fourth step. First step is human birth. Second step is human qualities. Third step is special qualities that a spiritual person must have. Sadhana chatushtaya, what we said. Fourth step is what? Being steadfast on the righteous path shown by the Vedas, which tells me to do guru upasadana, to approach a guru. What is the next step? The fifth step. Vidvatvam asmat param. Rarer than that, higher than that, the next step is what? Vidvatvam. Again you see here abstract noun is used. Vidvatva. Tva makes it abstract. Vidvat. Vidvat means a wise person. Vidvatva means what? Wisdom. Correct knowledge is what is called as Vidvatvam. So, after being established on the Vedic marga, Dharma marga, now what is the next step? I must gain knowledge. I have approached the Guru, I am serving the Guru, now the next step is get the knowledge. How? Shravana. By listening. Right? So, Sannyasottara Kalika Vedanta Vakya Shravanajanya Paroksha Jnanavatvam Vidvatvam. Don't worry if too much of Sanskrit is there and which you don't understand. Some of you also are there who are Samskrita Panditas, therefore for them I am using this. Vidvatvam means what? Sannyasa Uttara Kalika. After renunciation, Vedanta Vakya Shravanajanya. When you approach a Guru and when you listen to the Vedanta, from that is born what? Paroksha Jnanavatvam Vidvatvam. I have got understanding of Brahman, understanding of the Supreme, intellectual understanding. I have not yet gone the experience, but I have got understanding. Okay, this is what Brahman is. That is called here as Vidvatva. So this fifth step indicates Shravana. Careful. Each step is giving us what is spiritual path. So human birth, then human qualities, then sadhana chatushtaya, then guru upasadana, then shravana. That is where we have reached. Vidvatvam asmat param. Then what next? Atma anatma vivechanam. The ability to differentiate between the self and the not self. Atma and anatma. What is this step indicating? This step is indicating manana, reflection. Why? Because now that I have got the knowledge from the teacher, from the guru, that I am that supreme Brahman. Now, who am I and who am I not? This I have to reflect. So therefore, Atma, Anatma, Vivechanam, differentiating the self from the not self. This is called the step of reflection. Independent thinking, inquiry. After listening to the Guru, in line with that, now I am conducting an inquiry. In Sanskrit it is said, Shrutartha Dridhikaranartham Anuchintana Rupam Samshaya Bhavana Nirasakam Atma Anatma Vivechanam. These are all phrases taken from the Sanskrit commentary on Viveka Chudamani. There is a Sanskrit commentary written by Shankaracharya of Sringeri Matha. So that is how he explains. Means what? Shrutartha Dridhikaranartham. In order to make dridhi means strong, the knowledge that is gained by Shravana, in order to do that, what I do? Anuchintana Rupam. I start to reflect. And by doing that, what I do? Samshaya Bhavana Nirasakam. I clear all my doubts. Either some of the doubts will get cleared when I do reflection. If not, I ask the Guru and the Guru clarifies for me. I discuss with my fellow students, and by that also some of my doubts are gone. That is called as Atma Anatma Vivechanam. So this step clearly indicates manana, reflection. Atma Anatma Vivechanam. This is the step number 6. So human birth, human qualities, sadhana chatushtaya, guru upasadana, shravana, manana. 6 steps. What is the 7th step? Obviously, Shravana Manana is over. Nididhyasana, meditation, contemplation. How it is said here? Swanubhavaha. Last class I told, it is not Swa Anubhava. Then it will become Swanubhava. Here it is said Swanubhavaha. Swanubhavaha means Sushtu Anubhavaha. A clear, direct, strong experience. Anubhava means experience. So Swanubhava refers to what? That aparoksha anubhuti. The direct experience of the Supreme. Means what? I have heard from the Guru that I am that Supreme Brahman. Now I have reflected on it. I have clarified all my doubts. Now I meditate on it. And I experience I am that Brahman. This step is Swanubhavaha. Nididhyasana Purvaka Brahma Sakshatkaraha. It is the Sakshatkara, direct experience of Brahman. How? Nididhyasana Purvaka. Through the practice of meditation. So this practice of meditation, Nididhyasana, is the 7th step. Shankaracharya is showing us the entire path, okay? Now what? After understanding, we have to find on which step we are and then go to the next step. Right? He is showing us everything. He is showing the whole way that this is how it is, this is how it is, then this, then this, then this, then this. Now if I am on the 2nd step, I have to go to the 3rd step. If I am on the 3rd step, I have to go to the 4th. If I am on the 4th, I have to go to the 5th. Like that we have to understand. He is showing us the entire path. So the 7th step that he says is what? Nididhyasana. Practice of meditation. Swanubhavaha. Then what? What is the 8th step? Brahmatmana samsthitihi. Samsthitihi, firm abidance. In what? In the knowledge that I am Brahman. Brahmatmana. Firm abidance means what? It is no more just a thought-based knowledge. It is not even glimpse of that supreme reality. It is firm abidance. That experience which was given, which we got in the previous step, Swanubhava, becomes established in us. It becomes totally complete. No more we are away from it, we are absorbed in it. That is called as Brahmatmana Samstitihi. This is the state which is called as Samadhi. After Nididhyasana, after practice of meditation, then finally you are in the state of meditation. That Samadhi is the state that is spoken of here. Being well established in that supreme knowledge. Brahmatmana Samstitihi. Then what is the next step? Next step is actually goal only, isn't it? Even when we walk the steps, stairs, etc. in a building, the last step is actually the destination. So you can call it as last step or you can call it as destination. What is that? Muktihi. Muktihi word comes from root much, means to be free from. So mukti means what? Liberation. Total freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from bondage. Freedom from bondage of this samsara. Freedom from ignorance. Freedom from limitedness. Muktihi. The Bhashya on this says, Brahmatmana Samstitihi Kalpita Sakalavidha Upadi Sambandha Vidura Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Pratyaga Abhinna Paripurna Swarupena Avasthanam Kaivalyameva Muktihi. Swarupena Avasthanam. Remaining as your own true nature, that is called as Mukti. Mukti is not going to a particular loka or going to a particular stage. It is being. Being myself, being my own self is called as liberation. This Mukti is the final step, is the ultimate destination. So Shankaracharya ji in this verse of course tells us that each of the step is rarer than the previous step. But he also shows us the entire path of spirituality. So you see now, we have got human birth. So surely we are on at least step number 1. At least. We can be on further steps. At least on 1 we are. So he starts from where we are. Surely. Then he says human qualities of service, etc., by which you will gain chitta shuddhi, purity of mind. Then you start getting noble qualities. You decide that you want to walk the path of spirituality. You gain sadhana chatushtaya, step number 3. Then with that you decide to walk the path itself. And then what? Then you go approach a guru, Guru Upasadana, step number 4. Then from that guru you listen to the Vedanta, Shravana, step number 5. What you have listened from the guru, you start reflecting on it, you start clarifying your doubts, Manana, step number 6. Then whatever you have established or clearly understood, doubtlessly, you allow that knowledge to become part of you by practice of meditation, Nididhyasana, step number 7. Now that knowledge which I have gained as an experience now, Swanubhavaha, then I become established in that knowledge. Step number 8, Samadhi. Then what? Then the next step is Mukti, liberation. Liberation from all limitedness, liberation from all kinds of bondages. And this 9th step, final step, destination, Shankaracharya says, Shatakoti janma sukritaihi punyaihi vina na labhyate. Shata, 100. Janma, birth. Koti, crore. Sukritaihi, by good deeds. Punyaihi, merits. So by the merits of the good deeds that are performed in 100 crore births. Right? In some places, there is also Patha Bheda here. Patha Bheda means different reading. Often I will be saying that word. Patha Bheda means different reading. So some, these are very old texts, isn't it? They were in the form of manuscripts. So some places there will be one kind of reading, somewhere some other kind of reading also will be there. So Patha Bheda here is Janma Koti, Shatajanma Kotisu Kritaihi. One reading is what? Sukritaihi, which is also correct meaning. Sukrita means good actions. Otherwise, in other place it is Shatajanma Kotisu. Kotisu means in the 100 crore births, Kritaihi, the actions that are performed, Punyaihi, then that Punya word will indicate that those are good actions. If you don't take this Patha, if you take the previous Patha of Sukrutaihi, then that word Sukruta itself indicates good actions. Otherwise, Shatakoti Janmasu Kritaihi Punyaihi Vina, without the good actions performed in 100 crore births, Muktihi na ulabhyate. This liberation cannot be attained. Again, as I said, this is not a pessimistic despair that it cannot be attained. Actually, by saying that it will not be attained by any other mean, but by this path which is shown, Vedanta is actually telling us that the success is sure. It is telling us that if you walk this path, you will surely get liberation. So don't take it as a negative thing. It is such a positive thing that it is possible. I can, I must, I will. It is possible for me, I should do it, and I will do it. This is what inspiration we should take from this particular verse. Right? Now, as I told you, this second verse is also contents for the entire text. So now verses 3 to 581, what are the topics that are going to be covered are given in these 9 steps. 9 topics are going to be covered. I'll just give you overview of it. Okay? As we start studying more and more, we will start understanding which step is what. So verses 3 to 67, verse number 3 to verse number 67, this portion covers steps 1 to 4. Narajanma, Pumstvam, Viprata, Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata. So up to a person has come to spiritual path, Guru Upasadana, up to that is covered from now, starting from next verse up to verse 67. Then verse 68 to 240, large portion of the text. Verse 68 to verse number 240, steps 5 and 6. What are steps 5 and 6? Shravana and Manana. Together it will go, because you are listening and then you are reflecting. Right? So both will go together. That is what is happening in verses 68 to 240. Verses 241 to 266 will cover step number 7. What is that? Nididhyasana. So in this only all those verses which are used for meditation will come. Jati niti kula gotra duragam nama rupa guna dosha varjitam desha kala vishayati vartiyat brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. All these beautiful verses will come in this section, verses 241 to 266. Then verses 267 to 418, again a large portion of the book. 267 to 418. This covers step number 8. Step number 8 is what? Being established. So now that the knowledge is gained, suppose something is there which is obstructing me in getting established in that knowledge, those things will be removed. Right? That is step number 8. Then verses 419 to to 575. 419 to 575 covers the step 9, Mukti. 419 to 575. And then last 6 verses, 476 to 581, he concludes the entire text. Okay? You see the brilliance of Shankaracharya. While writing the second verse, he had the entire idea of how I am going to write this text. This is just too good. And that also is not given as, in any kind of boring points. It's given in a poetry. Just to listen to this verse, how nicely, Jantunam narajanma durlabhamatah pumstvam tato viprata tasmad vaidika dharma marga parata vidvatvam asmat param atma anatma vivechanam svanubhavo brahmatmana samsthitihi muktir no shatajanma koti sukritai punyair vina labhyate. What all things he has said in this one verse. He has given us the entire spiritual path. He has told us how each thing is rare, and therefore we should feel lucky that we have got it. And he has also told us that is not possible by any other means. Only by this path it will be gained. Great Shankaracharya ji, great text. Now we are moving forward, right? So now what? Now we are going to talk about the first 4 steps. Narajanma to we have got. Now that's what he continues. And what does he say? Let us see. This Narajanma is the next verse. How this Narajanma is and how rare it is and how lucky we are. Let us read that verse. Please repeat. Durlabham trayame vaitat Devanugraha hetukam Manushyattvam mumukshutvam Mahapurusha samshrayah. Durlabham trayame vaitat Devanugraha hetukam Manushyattvam mumukshutvam Mahapurusha samshrayah. Beautiful verse. He says, Durlabham trayameva etat. Trayameva durlabham. 3 things are very rare. Durlabham, rare. Trayam, 3. Eva, indeed. These 3 things alone are very rare. Etat. What are they? This. What is that? Deva anugraha hetukam. And these 3 things, he will tell what are the 3 things in the next line. How do I get it? Deva anugraha hetukam. Hetu, caused. Hetuka means caused. Caused by anugraha, blessing or grace, Deva of the Lord. There are 3 things that are very rare, and one gets these 3 things by the grace of Lord. What are they? Number 1, Manushyatvam. Manushyatvam, human birth. See, you may say, no. Veji, what are you saying? You say, I did the actions in my past life because of which I have got human birth. It is my right. Arey, my dear, you may say that, but don't you think that after having got this human birth, you are still alive is by the grace of God? Think about it. There are so many ways we could have died so far. Isn't it? Many ways. Accidents, and we go and we see how rash driving we do and other people also do. How are we alive? God only knows. And some of us are also, they can't walk straight. They have to fall. Even if everything is correctly, their finger, the finger of the feet will get, twisted because of some table, etc., some wall, etc., they will go and hit. They have to, they can't do anything properly. Some of us are like that, still we are alive. You think about all kinds of nonsense that we have eaten. So much without caring for the body, just to fulfill the tongue's pleasure, we have eaten so much. Still we are alive is a miracle, I am telling you. And that miracle is possible by God's grace only. Even now our body is able to function, our mind is still thinking straight, we are able to live is God's grace. Deva anugraha hetukam. Don't take it lightly. See, that's the mistake. A very famous story is there from Mahabharata in Yaksha Prashna. No? One episode is there where Yaksha is asking questions to Yudhishthira. One of the questions that he asks is that, what according to you is a miracle? Ashcharya. What is Ashcharya? What is miracle? He doesn't say that Taj Mahal and, Leaning Tower of Pisa, etc. No. He says the real miracle is every human being sees death, but still thinks that he is not going to die. Is a miracle, he says. All around us we see death, but somehow we take our life for granted. We don't realize that it is by God's grace that we have got it. Remember, if God's grace is not there, we won't be able to move our own finger. Even this movement is not possible if God's grace is not there. I will become paralyzed. Now to move this hand, I will need my another hand. That will happen if God's grace is not there. Don't take it lightly. Deva anugraha hetukam. Manushyattvam. First step. First thing what is rare? Manushyattvam. Then what? Second thing that is rare is what? Mumukshutvam. What do you mean by mumukshutvam? Now here also if you observe, it is still we are using abstract nouns, you see. Manushyattvam. See, best way to learn Sanskrit is by practice only. Manushya means human being. Manushyatva, human birth. Similarly here, mumukshutva. Who is a mumukshu? What do you mean by mumukshu? Moktumichuhu mumukshuhu. One who has got desire to get liberated. That mukti what we saw in the previous verse, one who has got that desire that I should be liberated, that burning desire one who has, such a person is called as mumukshu. Shankaracharya will explain these points later on. Wait. Mumukshutva means what? Having that desire. Mumukshuta or mumukshutva means having that desire for liberation, or that desire for liberation is mumukshutva. Not having. That desire for liberation itself is mumukshutva. So human birth is first thing that is rare. Second thing that is rare is having been born as human being, I have that desire for liberation. We become very pleased when we have 100, 200 people attending spiritual class. Now to 700 have registered and we become so happy. But what is the percentage of those 700 among the entire world population of human beings? Very rare. That's why he is saying mumukshutva is rare. Don't feel bad. He said mumukshutva is rare. You go around and you see people, many of them don't even know that there is something called as spirituality. Many of them don't even know that we should walk that path. See, we have got this desire by God's grace. Deva anugraha hetukam. We are lucky that we have got two rare things. One is this human birth, another desire for liberation. Maybe our desire may not be that strong. Fine. We'll make it strong. But at least we have got that desire. At least we have thought that I want something else in my life. That thought has passed our mind is a rare thing. And it is achieved by God's grace. What is the third rare thing? He says, Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. Samshrayaha, being under a great Mahatma, Mahapurusha, means what? Coming under the umbrella of a great saint, taking refuge under a great saint. And fortunately, we have got that also. I don't think we have done anything to deserve this. But that is how grace works. The kind of life that we have lived and we are living even now, we don't know whether we deserve, but the very fact that we are here proves that we deserve. Not because we deserve by our own actions, but because of God's grace. We have got human life, we have got that desire for liberation, and we have come under the umbrella of one of the greatest saints. See, you call him Shankaracharya, you call him Gurudev, for me they are one and the same. So it doesn't matter whether you say that we have come under the umbrella of Shankaracharya ji, who is a Jagat Guru, who is teaching us through his Viveka Chudamani, or you call him Gurudev, Swami Chinmayanand Maharaj, who brought this knowledge to us. But the fact is, we have come under the umbrella of the great saint. Three things are very rare, Shankaracharya says. And luckily we have got all the three. Manushyattvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. Sometimes we get this doubt. Who is my Guru? How do I get a Guru? Gurudev, while explaining this point, explaining this verse itself, uses that beautiful example. What is that beautiful example? He says, you can never find Guru. Guru finds you. You should only be ready. Example he gives is that of a flower. He says, flower's job is to open up. Every single flower that has opened up should get pollinated. Is a natural law put by the Lord, by God. So every single flower that opens up gets pollinated. Lord sends some bee or some other, creature, insect, in order to pollinate that flower. Gurudev says, and if the flower is right at the top of a mountain where no bee can go, Narayana himself becomes the bee and comes there. He tells to his wife, Lakshmi, give me 2 minutes, I'll just come. And he goes there, becomes the bee and pollinates. Flower's job is to open up. We are all flowers. Our job is to gain those qualities, Viprata. Those humane and noble qualities I should acquire more and more, and I should open up, and Guru will find us. And if we are at a place where Guru cannot find us, God himself will come as Guru. It's a natural law, it will work. Don't worry. Never have this thought that how can I find Guru, who is my Guru, how will... You just do one thing. You open up. And Guru will find you. And let me assure you, Guru has found us. The very fact that we are here studying this means Gurudev has accepted us. See, if he doesn't accept no, we will not even get this chance. 100 other reasons will come by which we will not get a chance to listen to Vedanta. Very fact that we are listening to this Vedanta means Guru has accepted us. Now what is our job? Accept him as Guru and start walking. Again, as I told you, you call him Gurudev, you call him Guruji, you call him Shankaracharya, you call him anything. It's one and the same. Guru is a tattva. Guru is a principle, not just a person. Any person in whom this principle you can see is your Guru. Don't misunderstand me to be your Guru. I am not your Guru. I can be your teacher, guide, but I cannot be Guru. Guru is that. Guru is Gurudev. Guru is Shankaracharya. For all of us, he is our Guru. Right? So these are the three things which are very rare, and by God's grace, they are attained, and luckily we have got it. Manushyatvam, mumukshutvam, mahapurusha samshaya. In some of the Patha reading, instead of Deva Anugraha Hetukam, it is Daiva Anugraha Hetukam. Daiva means destiny. So Daiva Anugraha Hetukam will mean by the blessing of destiny you gain this. But I like the first part. By the grace of God, we get it. We get what? We get human life by the grace of God. We get that desire for liberation by the grace of God. And we come under the umbrella of a Guru by the grace of God. It is the Lord that sends us Guru. It is the God that makes sure that we are taking refuge under a Guru. Having got it, let us not lose it. Kena Upanishad says, Iha cheda vedit atha satyam asti. Nachediha vedit mahati vinashti. In this life, we have got these three rare things. We don't know when we will get the human life later on. Whether we will get mumukshutva in that next human life or not, we don't know. Whether we will get gurus like Shankaracharya, like Puja Gurudev in the next life or not. Having got it now, let us make the best of it. Ihached avedit, if you gain that knowledge here, if you gain that supreme realization here, atha satyam asti, then there is a point. Nachediha vedit, if you don't get it, mahati vinashti, we have lost something. But that doesn't mean you should take tension. That doesn't mean that you should be under pressure that, oh, I have to gain it, I have to gain it. Relax. We just now said that we have come under the umbrella of a great Mahatma. By his grace, by the grace of Lord, we will gain it. Don't worry. We will gain it. We will put all the best efforts that are possible from our end. By their grace, we will gain it. When this effort and grace combines, no result is impossible. No result is impossible. Okay? Let us pray to the Lord. Let us pray to our Guru that may we be able to put forth the efforts required to walk this path and to reach the destination of liberation. May we do it by their grace. Sufficient for today. We will conclude, right? Continue in the next session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.